The young and the restless spoilers shock, in the gleaming corridors of the Genoa City Memorial, where the scent of antiseptic mingles with the quiet hum of medical machinery, Cole sits propped against a cluster of pillows, his pallid face etched with lines of pain that belie his once vibrant spirit. Outside his room's sliding glass door, whispers flit like nervous moths. Victoria, his wife, his steadfast companion through so many trials, is nowhere to be found at his bedside, and rumors swirl that she has instead retreated into the arms of another. The tabloids claim she's rekindled a passionate liaison with Billy Abbott, her old confidant turned lover, and that she now walks the sunlit sidewalks of Genoa City arm in arm with him, her laughter echoing through chic cafes while Cole's breath grows shorter by the hour. Why, the onlookers ask, would a woman who once vowed eternal solidarity abandon the man she vowed to love even in sickness and in health? Is Victoria so callous as to let Cole slip away alone, his final moments bereft of her touch and her tears? Or is there a more intricate plan at play, one that only a master strategist of her caliber could conceive? As fans and friends alike hold their breath, the question reverberates. What dark horizon lies behind Victoria's apparent desertion, and what will she do next? It is no secret that Victoria's relationship with Billy has always simmered beneath the surface, an undercurrent of mutual respect and attraction that flourished whenever her responsibilities at Chancellor Industries felt stifling. In boardrooms and gala events, she and Billy shared knowing glances, collaborative victories, and solace after each crushing defeat. Their bond was forged in the fires of corporate warfare against Victor Newman and Jack Abbott, two patriarchs whose rivalries shaped the city, and it seemed only natural that love might bloom from such familiar soil. Yet Cole's illness, diagnosed months ago as an aggressive carcinoma that robbed him of vitality and left him tethered to four lines, should have summoned to Victoria's heart the fierce protectiveness of a spouse confronting impending loss. Instead, the public has witnessed her curate a schedule of lavish events and clandestine rendezvous with Billy, sunset dinners at the Beacon Hotel, late-night gallery showings, even whispered phone calls that leave her cheeks flushed with intimacy. To the untrained eye, it appears that Victoria has chosen distraction over duty, euphoria over empathy. Cole's every feeble statement of longing for her company, just one moment beside you, Victoria, hangs in the sterile air of his hospital room like a wingless bird, unable to escape. And still, she remains absent. But Victoria is no ordinary woman, and this is no ordinary drama of betrayal. Behind closed doors, outside the prying eyes of social media, she orchestrates a series of initiatives that belie the narrative of indifference. At night, long after she has disguised herself in designer sunglasses and a woolen scarf to slip away with Billy, her security team delivers confidential medical files and coded directives to an elite circle of specialists scattered across 3 continents. She has quietly funneled a portion of the Chancellor fortune into experimental immunotherapy trials, surgical consultations in Switzerland, and consultations with stem cell researchers at the cutting edge of oncology. Her scheduling of meetings with Billy serves as camouflage, a way to lower the guard of an adversarial press corps and to give her the breathing room necessary to navigate bureaucratic mazes and international medical protocols. In whispered phone calls to Claire, Cole and Victoria's only child, she pledges that she will not abandon Cole, that her pretense of scorn toward his frailty is a shield to protect him from the desperate scrutiny of opportunists who would hawk his tragedy for profit. Indeed, Claire, caught between grief and hope, notices the tremor in her mother's voice when she mentions the latest round of compassionate use approvals and the covert flight booked for a radical treatment abroad. It is Victoria's greatest gamble, to appear to forsake her husband in the public arena, so that she may move unseen in the private one, steering him towards salvation without interference. Yet the stakes of this ruse are monumental. If any slip occurs, if a trace of Victoria's secret travels falls into the wrong hands, the entire facade could implode. Victor Newman, ever hungry for leverage, would exploit her apparent desertion to undermine her claim to the Chancellor legacy, seizing control of the company with a smirk and a well-timed press release. Jack Abbott might use the disarray to poach her allies and to paint her as unfit to lead, a woman whose heartsickness gave way to reckless deception. Meanwhile, paparazzi drones hover like vultures, capturing fleeting images of her disembarking a private jet, only to edit the narrative into a tale of callous infidelity rather than clandestine medical rescue. And through it all, Cole, the man whose very breath hangs by a fragile thread, must endure the pain of not knowing whether the woman he loves truly stands by him or has abandoned him to die alone. Each heartbeat he struggles to summon is a silent prayer for clarity, for truth to pierce the fog of rumors. Victoria, he whispers into the glass, are you fighting for me, or have you moved on to someone who can bear the burden of my decline? As the sun dips below the horizon and the city lights flicker on, a decisive moment approaches. Victoria gathers in her penthouse with Claire and a small cadre of trusted confidants. The specialist from Zurich who carries test results detailing unusual tumor regression, the attorney who has guarded the confidentiality of her medical fund transfers, and the private liaison who has arranged Cole's discreet transfer to a pioneering treatment facility. The room is thick with anticipation, voices clipped and eyes determined. Victoria raises a glass of Pommery Brut Rose, not to toast a social triumph, but to steel herself for the disclosure that will consume every headline. In the next hours, she will confront the media, the shareholders of Chancellor Industries, and the world at large. She must choose whether to unveil the truth of her hidden crusade for Cole's life, risking her professional reputation and the public's trust, or to let the charade continue until the final outcome is revealed by fate itself. Behind her composed exterior, her heart pounds. To admit her duplicity would shatter alliances and fuel a scandal of epic proportions. To conceal it further could condemn Cole to loneliness. The weight of 2 lives rests upon her next words. In the hush before the storm, Victoria reaches for her phone and dials Billy. His warm greeting falters when she speaks, her voice urgent yet poised. I need you to help me manage the narrative, she says, each syllable measured. Not for us, but for Cole. On the other end, Billy's silence is a promise of solidarity, a reminder that their bond extends beyond personal desire into shared purpose. Victoria offers him the truth in its starkest form, the experimental treatments, the clandestine flights, the risk she has taken with her fortune and reputation. And in that moment of confession, the lovers transform into conspirators, 2 minds united in one aim, to save a man whose life has become the most vital project of all. The game of public perception, corporate power, and private devotion converges as Victoria steps toward the balcony, her silhouette framed against the night sky, and raises a toast to the unknown. Tomorrow, the world will wake to her announcement. But tonight, she stands unwavering in the quiet certainty that love, complex, concealed, and courageous, can rewrite even the darkest of destinies. In the sterile glow of the hospital's corridors, Claire stood rooted to the spot outside her father's room, heartbeat hammering against her ribs as though it could shatter the polished tile floor. Through the slightly ajar door, she could see Cole's gaunt silhouette, propped up on pillows that had once cradled his strength and warmth. Now those same pillows bore the weight of his suffering, an unspoken testament to time's inexorable march. Claire's chest tightened when she recalled the rumors. Her mother, Victoria, walking the sunlit boulevards of Genoa City with Billy Abbott on her arm, laughter spilling from cafe tables instead of whispered consolations beside her dying husband. Fury flared in Claire's veins. How could Victoria, who had vowed to stand by Cole in sickness and in health, abandon him to the relentless ache of his own mortality? Yet even as her anger roared, her mind whispered a retaliatory truth. There had been no formal divorce, no signed papers canceling vows or legal ties. In Genoa City's tempest of alliances and betrayals, Victoria and Cole had drifted apart long before illness claimed his body. And so Claire, torn between filial outrage and reluctant acceptance, realized that her mother's choice, however painful, was hers to make. There was no contract, only a lifetime of unspoken expectations, and Claire understood in that quiet moment that to condemn Victoria outright would be to deny her own need for autonomy. Across town, Victoria stood in her penthouse suite overlooking the city's glittering skyline, emotion coiled behind her eyes as she rehearsed her next address to the press. The chatter in the tabloids painted her as heartless, a woman so enamored of Billy that she would leave her ailing husband alone in his final days. Yet behind the polished facade of designer gowns and meticulously styled hair lay a labyrinth of intention few could fathom. Each glamorous outing with Billy was planned as a smokescreen to deflect attention from the clandestine medical breakthroughs she had orchestrated for Cole's care. The experimental immunotherapy trial in Zurich, the private consultations with specialists in Tokyo, the whispered negotiations to secure access to a revolutionary stem cell program on the brink of approval. Victoria's heart pounded with the weight of her gamble. If any detail of her covert campaign leaked, Genoa City's fiercest sharks would seize upon it, undermining her reputation and shattering the fragile stability she had fought so hard to maintain. To the world, she appeared distracted. In truth, she was fighting a war on two fronts, balancing the demands of corporate leadership, where every misstep could invite Victor Newman's and Jack Abbott's retribution, with the urgent quest to save the man she had once believed would share her twilight years. Each moment spent in intimate conversation with Billy served a dual purpose. Stoking just enough fascination to keep the press at bay, while giving Victoria the cover she needed to tend to Cole's future beyond the glare of public scrutiny. Yet Billy Abbott's own heart had become a battleground of loyalty and desire. He found solace in Sally Spectra's fierce devotion and sparkling intellect, a partnership that had blossomed from professional camaraderie into a love both tender and tumultuous. Sally, with her savvy counsel and daring ambition, had stood by Billy through countless boardroom sieges, until the specter of Victoria's presence in his life cast a shadow over their newfound happiness. When the cameras captured Billy and Victoria exchanging knowing smiles at a charity gala, when news feeds buzzed with images of the two of them sharing a laugh over late-night coffee, Sally's trust fractured. Her texts grew terse, her eyes glistened with betrayal, and in her withdrawal, Billy felt the keen sting of regret. He was caught between two women whose worlds collided in unexpected ways. One, the woman he had pledged his heart to build a future with; the other, the woman whose secret wartime efforts might yet save the life of the man who fathered his closest friend. Every tender whisper from Victoria reminded him of the love they had once shared before fate intervened, while every anguished phone call from Sally reminded him of promises made and an intimacy he feared losing forever. In the solitude of his study, Billy traced a trembling finger over the photo of him and Sally at the nurses' ball, the image capturing a moment of unguarded joy now tainted by doubt. As the city lights shimmered beneath a velvet sky, the four of them. Cole, clinging to fragile hope, Claire, wrestling with resentment and empathy, Victoria, defying perception to engineer miracles, and Sally, grappling with the wounds of jealousy, found their lives intertwined in a high-stakes drama that transcended mere romance. Each decision carried consequences that rippled through boardrooms and hospital wards alike, redrawing alliances in real time. Would Victoria unmask her secret crusade, risking scandal but ensuring Cole's access to groundbreaking treatment? Could Sally rise above her hurt and stand with Billy as he navigated the moral crux of aiding his friend's wife while keeping faith in their own bond? Would Claire forgive her mother's choices, or forge a path that honored both loyalty to her father and acceptance of her mother's autonomy? And what part would Cole himself play once he learned of the lengths to which his wife had gone in shadows to save him? In Genoa City, where power and passion are as inseparable as dawn and dusk, the next act was poised to reshape destinies. The only certainty was that when love, duty, and ambition collide, the outcome is never what the world expects, and the truth, when it finally emerges, will leave no heart untouched.